You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrested Development After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrested Development After Show.
Hello, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing Arrested Development. Thanks for tuning in. We are currently up to episode 8, featuring Lindsay, called Red Herring. And to join me in this recap, we have 2 lovely ladies. We have, first of all...
I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
You'll take the compliment? I'm trying to be better with compliments.
I'm Roxy Striar.
And I'm Cathy Kelley. We used to be the Fantastic Four, but now we're the Fantastic Three.
We saved that. Yeah, we saved that for the next show.
Some legal issues.
Some legal issues. Yes, we're taking it out. Alina, unfortunately, is in jail because she said she was Sue Storm. So
on Hollywood Boulevard.
On Hollywood Boulevard.
But
she was
that's
on
probably
Hollywood
why she was not why she was in jail. She was on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, we getting there? Wow. Okay, she's gone, and we're just making up stories.
Anyway.
Especially for this episode, considering what Lindsay gets referred to in this episode.
Pretty woman.
Pretty woman, absolutely. So anyway, let's talk about this one. This is our second episode featuring Lindsay's Arrested Development. And I like this episode because we're getting to see a lot more answers. We're getting to see a lot more clarity, obviously. We get more of what happens at the Opie's and with Herbert Love. So, but let's get started, I guess, at the top, seeing Lindsay hanging out with Marky Bark and starting to finally get tired of that situation and getting tired of living on an ostrich farm.
How do you guys feel like? Do you feel like she actually likes him? I can't tell. I keep feeling like she really does have feelings for him.
I think she just wants intimacy with whoever provides it.
Okay. So whether it's love or Marky, doesn't matter.
I mean, I think that what she wants is someone who is going to be completely into her, someone who provides intimacy, and someone who tells her she's beautiful at all times. But not too much, but not completely available.
Well, yeah, she likes a challenge, I guess. She obviously likes a challenge, and all she needs is just somebody to give her a little eyelash or just answer a certain question, and next thing you know, she's flirting back with him. So as we see in this episode too. But yeah, what's interesting about the ostrich farm, we learn a little bit more, actually, some more details, that the ostrich farm was just down the road or just a little field away from the Sweat and Squeeze.
Yes.
So we finally, I think you revealed it accidentally the other episode, but we finally realized that vision that George and Oscar had was actually Marky Bark dressed up as an Indian with a beak, I guess like an ostrich.
An ostrich.
You know what was weird about that, though, was when Marky was telling Lindsay, he was like, I think I must have had too much maca because there were 2 of them.
Yeah.
I thought he couldn't see faces. So how did he know?
Well, he could see
he knows that
two
there's
of
2
them.
people.
Yeah, he saw there were 2 people, but he was like, there was 2 of the same guy.
Oh, that they were the same guy.
Ah.
Wow, that is an interesting point.
So
Writers messed up.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Or maybe, and I didn't think he's fooling us the whole time, but maybe he can see more than we know.
Well, don't forget, they've been dressed the same. They've been dressed very much alike, so maybe he was just basing the way they were out there. Well, I guess, you know what? You can be in lots of places and see people with 2 uniforms.
Or if he's on maca, maybe he can see clearly.
Well, don't forget, he can see noses, he can see eyes, he can see mouths. He just can't see faces. So maybe he recognized enough of it.
But I thought that was an interesting slip in there, and I don't think that the writers mess up on the show. I haven't seen it yet, so I feel like that might come back into play. Like you're saying, maybe when he's on the maca, he can see actual faces. And also, what's the deal with the dead iguana?
Oh, well, that was easy. Dr. Norman.
Oh.
Yeah, that I love. I actually love that Dr. Norman's been busy just practicing his trade on all the desert animals. And they're like, and they keep coming back to life in the ostrich farm. They keep freaking them out. I totally love that.
That's absolutely what it is. I love the reference. Also, I love whenever they throw back to a different episode. And Lindsay says, I'd pay $20,000 for a lemonade right now.
Oh, yeah.
To start the episode. Very funny. Clever.
And typical Lindsay, just throwing her money away for like the smallest little thing.
Oh, completely.
So, yeah, totally, absolutely her. So, Lindsay, and also Lindsay just gets fed up, I think, with Marky Bark's mom. So Lindsay gets to convince Marky Bark to move back into Lucille's house since Lucille's in jail. And we finally get to see exactly, you know, that was, we were clued into on the pilot, but we finally get to see exactly how that place got totally messed up.
So there hasn't been multiple ostriches that we've seen. It's just the one ostrich that we've pretty much seen through all these episodes, just recurring in different
It's a very
scenes.
active ostrich.
Yes.
What about the one in India?
Well, that probably wasn't the same one.
Not the
but
same.
other
Well,
than that,
maybe
it could be.
Production-wise, it might have been the same
Yes.
one. They might have had a low production value, so they just said, you know, let's just get the same ostrich.
I'm pretty
again.
sure India was in the same lot that
Yeah.
Arrested Development
In a
was in.
similar lot, so it's probably the same ostrich.
Like you're saying, though, so now we have a whole crew in jail. We got homies in jail now. They're all in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear that she's sent away, so I'm wondering what relation she's going to have. I mean, no touching, but what she's going to have. We see that obviously Anus Tart is in jail, but he gets out.
Yeah.
She's in a separate jail. She's in a...
Oh, yeah, she goes
Well,
to
she's in a
the
completely
night-
separate jail, which
Yeah.
we find out where she is the following episode. But yeah, she's in a separate jail playing tennis with her numbers. I just love that they just put her in these really awesome situations, and she's in jail, but it's really just a resort.
Yeah.
And she has a massage appointment in an hour there. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and she can barely get bothered to even see Lindsay.
Yeah.
So, who's technically not her daughter anyway, so I guess she doesn't really care. But yeah, it's really interesting to see that Lindsay found the $50,000 check in that magazine and decided to go confront Lucille about it.
Yeah.
And again, I love how they refer to Portia de Rossi's plastic surgery, and they just seem to make it into a running gag as well.
Speaking of
between her and her
which,
daughter.
the sign from Sally Sitwell, the poster when she was running against her for high school election,
Yeah.
said, "I won't leave for 2 months and come back with a new nose like Lindsay did."
Exactly.
So yeah, they're constantly making jokes. I feel like there's something more to this check, though, because there's got to be a bigger story than she was just writing a check for maybe. Like, did maybe ask for it?
I don't think it was for maybe. I feel like it was for Lindsay, but it was just from a really long time ago.
Well, it said, what did it say? It
For
said,
a new nosy.
No,
that
was
was
the
the
check
old
that she
one.
wrote
Okay.
back in I think she said 1972, the
Okay.
flashback with when she was Kristen Wiig. But what it said on the check that they showed it, I'd have to take a look at it again. It said Gangi 4, the
Gangi.
number 4, Gangi, sorry, not Gangi, Gangi, the number 4, colon, and then I think it said nose.
No, it's a
So-
facelift.
Oh, no, it said facelift?
Yes.
Then it said facelift, sorry. But the thing that
One
I thought
word,
was
facelift.
interesting was it was the number 4, Gangi,
Yeah.
the number 4, colon. So I'm almost wondering if it is Fantastic Four related, which we'll see the next episode, because we're an episode ahead at this point. We're watching 2 because we're doing 2 today. But I think maybe that's a prediction for later. But I think you're right. It's not automatically just for maybe, but there's probably some other reason there.
Right, that's definitely going to come back into play at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's awesome. We get to see Lindsay just totally getting tired of Marky Bark, hanging out with Lucille too. We saw that nice little flashback about her thinking about, you know, how great she is as a campaign manager, and she can't even spell. It's funny, her campaign banner has Lucille 2 for Congress, and she spelled Congress wrong, and Lucille 2's like, well, nobody really knows me as Lucille 2.
And she's like, oh, sorry,
Lucille
Lucille 1.
one.
Lucille 1, yeah. Oh, Lucille 1, yeah, exactly.
No, Lucille Astero. Okay.
So let's move on because to what I think is really awesome. We finally get to see more with Herbert Love. We get to see where the red wig. I mean, this is called red herring this episode. So we get to see a lot with the red wig. We see it comes from Lucille too, but we see it really comes into play when Marky Bark's plan to sabotage Herbert Love and Lindsay has to go in there in disguise. Meanwhile, she is one of the 2 things that Herbert Love loves the most, which is greenbacks and redheads. So we get to see a lot of flirting going on. And I love this. I love this whole thing.
I loved later in the episode when Rebel Allie comes into play and they're like, she looks like a cheap redhead or
Yeah, that was a funny
whatever
line.
she says.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think the last episode when I said I was trying to think of something, I forgot. I was trying to think that Rebel Alley is also a redhead. So I think that's what I was
I just
thinking of.
love the long hug. The long hug between Michael and Lindsay where they keep talking and they pull away and then they like say a couple more things.
Mm-hmm.
Loved that moment.
Oh, I just love the whole family
How do you
dynamic.
say that you don't know each other after you
I
just
know.
hugged for 30 seconds? At least say, like, oh, yeah, we're from high school, or whatever Lindsay's first line was.
But why did you guys think that maybe was so interested in calling Love for Lindsay? Before Lindsay meets up with Love, maybe was like, oh, I'll call him for you, no problem. She seemed really excited about it. What did we think was going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there seem to be a lot of question marks with maybe going over there for the Lifetime Achievement Award.
We need a maybe episode.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we're about due for a maybe episode.
We know that she won an Opie. We saw her running with some sort, like some
she was running
award.
away with the Opie Award,
Yeah,
I believe,
so
being chased.
I'm assuming that she won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Opies.
Yeah.
And she was running away, but we don't really know what she won it for. I mean, obviously her lifetime in the industry, because she's been in the industry for however many years, but I'm curious to see more of her side of the story.
Absolutely. And then of course the check, and there's got to be another thing going on with Love, because she seems really to know a lot about Herbert Love as well. So it all gonna tie together. You just know it's all gonna tie together. So yeah, but it really interesting. I mean, I love the flirting. I love the fact that Herbert Love is calling her for. I love it. I just love flirting. It's just hot.
Love.
I love love. Yeah, I'm a guy. I'm a sentimental sap. I love love. But I love the fact that she doesn't get that he thinks she's a prostitute. That he says, oh, give me a call. We can engage in some sexual congress. And she totally takes it a totally different way.
Oh, and then that was so long. Well, I paid for 6 hours.
Yes.
Oh, you paid for the room for 6 hours? No, I had the room for a month.
And she says, you crack me up.
Yeah.
Love that. And then
So, she also
doesn't understand that he isn't with her about the wall thing. She's like, oh, but you have to be against the wall. And so he turns his back.
Well, that's better than my back support.
Yeah, well, let's get into that, because obviously that's the whole thing with her and Michael, where and I love this whole thing because they showed the flashback with Michael and George too, where it's like, hey, can you do me this favor? Yeah, of course I'll do you. I'll sign the rights, which is what George did to Michael. But if you get Love to go against the wall, and then we see Michael and Lindsay playing that game too, where Michael is convincing Lindsay to put Love against the wall, which of course we all hear the double entendre there, and we all figure something's going to happen, and it does end up happening. But Lindsay is like, oh sure, I'll definitely do that if you get Marky Bark out of
it. Ends up working out in the end, though.
Going back for a second, though, you just mentioned that I'll do this if with Michael and George. So we end on George giving him the card, and saying if, and then we don't see what
exactly
the next if is. Any ideas, guys? Something with Oscar, maybe?
It might have to do with Oscar, especially if since he knows Oscar's kind of his nemesis all of a sudden. So I would think that's actually a pretty safe assumption, that they would have something to do with Oscar, and maybe just trying to keep Oscar away from Lucille.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's what I would think. So yeah, we definitely have more of that flashback to see. That's a really good point, that we do have more of that. And then we see, we pretty much see Michael and Lindsay deciding to hang out a little bit more together, and they go on their double date. So we get to see Rebel Alley.
They don't decide to hang out together. They just have to. They're forced to hang out at the club because they both want to get the dinner paid for by their family.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. So they end up forced into this double date. Michael with Rebel, and Lindsay with Lindsay with Love.
Yes.
Lindsay with Love. So and this is a great scene. We get to see a lot of different things at the same time. We see Michael definitely playing the jealous type about Ron Howard and downplaying Ron Howard, and we get to see I want to say Terry Crews, but it's because I love him, but it's Herbert Love, and we get to see him still playing up this whole prostitute angle and flirting with Rebel at the same time. We definitely see it's a really good dynamic.
But not flirting with her, because that's one redhead he would not want to have sex with.
Yeah, but he's such a confident guy, but I guess that's true.
Yes. And after that line, that's the first time Lindsay actually looks at him. Her facial expression is priceless. She's like, that wasn't so much of a good line. I like that she at least acknowledged that moment.
Yes.
By the way, I did want to bring this up because I think it's hilarious too, that Lindsay's name, her as a redhead for Herbert Love, is Cindy Featherbottom, which is a total play on when
Mrs. Featherbottom.
Yes, Mrs. Featherbottom, when Tobias was doing the Mrs. Doubtfire character to try and get close to his kids again, to get close to Maybe again. So and we also totally skipped over Marky Bark bluing himself. as a result of Lindsay just flirting too much and not paying attention to her whole plan go awry.
And we were wondering about that a couple episodes back when we've seen this explosion and
yes.
the alarm go off in the same area several times now. So we were wondering what that was, and we finally got to see. It was Marky Bark. Marky
Bark with ink and glitter, all blue in the face, blue all over.
Yes.
And again, as great as it is, it's just obviously, you know, wow, look at who you date. You have another guy that's all blue again. So look how similar to Tobias he is. And I think he even said...
She has a type.
She has a type, apparently.
And they even said that the reason why she was going for love is because he reminded her of Tobias when they first started dating.
Yes.
Which I don't really see, but...
Maybe we'll see more of that,
maybe
too.
They're both bald? That was the only connection that I could.
I thought that was sarcasm because they're obviously so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or perhaps. Sorry, I don't want to mix it up. Sorry, I do that once an episode. I freak Roxy out. She's like, "What? What about baby? What about baby?" It's like, no, I don't mean that. Sorry about that. So, so we. I
loved at the dinners. They were always like, "I don't want to be like, I'm not that shallow Hollywood." Oh wait, sorry, I have to take my phone call.
Total. I love that. Total Hollywood satire, which is totally awesome. So.
What about the very end when we see Anya?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well, you're jumping all the way to the end, but yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, Anya. No, it's cool. You get excited about. I mean,
yeah.
I'm excited about Anya coming back too. So it's nice to finally see him, even if it is in a teaser for the next episode.
I'm jumping around. I couldn't wait.
What happens in next episode never actually happens in next episode.
Exactly.
So we might not see him for several more.
But you know he's going to be in there
if at all this season.
What I'm really curious about is during this whole double date too, George Michael gets referenced a lot, and you know Michael making excuses.
He was supposed to be on his way to the Ealing Club a couple days ago. Michael got turned down, so he made an excuse not to look stupid in front of his son that he couldn't get into this club.
Yeah.
And says that there's a plane on the highway and there's so many cars, but no news cameras can get to it. So George Michael calls him back and says, "Crazy, I'm in the same situation," which I believe as a prediction that this actually happened.
Same.
Yeah. Same. Michael's excuse because he didn't want George Michael to figure out that he couldn't see it in the news.
Yeah.
But it's actually
Michael's
true.
excuse is actually that happened.
Yeah, I totally get you.
I completely agree.
Let's scoot. We don't have much time for this one because we're running a little behind. But let's just scoot really quickly to Cinco de Cuatro and what happens in Cinco de Cuatro. What do you guys? Let's just scoot really ahead to what you guys
Before we get to that, I just want to mention very quickly that our creators of AfterBuzz, Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, have an amazing movie out. If you love Henry Winkler, which I know you do because you watch Arrested Development, you are going to love this movie. It's called Arrested. It's called Arrested Development too. Wow. It's not called Arrested Development. It is called The Adventures of Serial Buddies. It starts with the same letter, and it is absolutely hilarious. You can find it on iTunes. You can rent it, buy it. Definitely do it. It's about two serial killers who go on a road trip and kill a lot of people, but it's funny.
Also, while we're here, what about our new website?
We also have a new website. Check it out. AfterBuzzTV.com.
It's amazing! Yay!
Yeah, take a look. Apparently, you can do a lot of new cool stuff with it, and it's a really good look.
Yeah. Yes,
awesome.
we can.
Yes,
it's much easier to navigate, and you can find all your favorite shows. There's pictures and stuff. So
instead of listening to us on iTunes, which you can do as well, of course, you can see our beautiful faces while we're talking about your favorite shows.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, let's get to Cinco de Cuatro really quickly because we got to move on to the next one. But what did you guys think about that whole thing? Definitely some more questions answered.
Well, we see more even next episode about it. So it was, yes, questions answered, but of course, for every question that's answered, another question comes up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was wondering why Lucille 1 was in that outfit. That gets answered in the next episode. But we do see that Lucille 2 has a new campaign advisor, and that is Sally Sitwell.
Yes.
Which I predicted that we would see a lot more of Lindsay and Sally together. And I still think that they're somehow related.
Oh, yeah. No, I kind of am starting to agree with you there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to move on to the next episode. But before we do we have any predictions?
Well, also, we just have to mention the fact that Love is in a coma now, so Lindsay is taking over the campaign.
She's going to be the next Hillary Clinton.
Actually, you're right. Absolutely.
The game changer.
Sorry,
which I love the
ahead.
game changer reference because in the movie you have, God, what's her name? Now I can't even remember the actress's name in Game Changer, who's naturally a redhead.
I'm not sure who that is. I'm totally zoned out on this
good
part
catch,
of it.
yeah. I don't know.
Predictions.
The only
Predictions,
thing
yeah,
that I had was that I think that the Michael and George thing is going to be about Oscar.
Okay.
Favor that he's going to ask.
All right, cool. All right,
What about you?
I'm trying to think. What do I have? I have nothing. You know what? I just have pretty much that that the whole George Michael thing. I like the prediction that George Michael thing's actually really stuck in traffic. So I actually really like that one. So I think I'll stick to that. So anyway, let's well, what can we?
Julianne Moore.
Oh. Wow, we're all over the place on
that?
this one. Who's that? Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
No, totally kidding.
She's a pretty woman.
Oh, and the Pretty Woman reference, too. I love the jewelry Pretty Woman reference. But anyway, we got to move on. Where can we find you, Roxy?
On Twitter at Roxy Striar.
And?
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley.
And you can find me on Twitter at Nando Vel. And we're about to do another episode if you're tuning in live today. But otherwise, you can tune in and catch us on the next episode.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.